It's Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Welcome to Disruptive FM, where business and culture collide. Sponsored by Microsoft and Branding Strategy Insider. With your host, Jeffrey Colon.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, what's up? It's Disruptive FM, episode 9 for the week ending June 15th, 2018. I'm Jeffrey Colon, your audio disc jockey for the next quarter hour as we dissect the culture of business and look at what's happening at the intersection of tech, media, marketing, and popular culture. Blast off!
Here are this week's trending topics. YouTube killer.
Instagram is a great place to watch short stories, but now the platform is asking reporters to RSVP for a June 20th special event to make a special announcement. Conjecture is that this is Instagram's chance to evolve from social media to just media, stealing longer mobile viewing sessions away from YouTube and Snapchat. So long-form video may eventually be the dominant player on Instagram. That's right. Watching 30-second videos may go away, and you may end up watching what feels like television-length programs on Instagram. What the what? Here are the details of the long-form video hub that we've heard from our sources. Instagram will let creators upload 4K, full-screen, vertically oriented videos ranging much longer than the current 60-second limit on videos. The videos will be available from a centralized hub featuring curating sections of popular videos and an option to continue watching clips you've already started, though it's unclear where in its app these videos will be hosted. Instagram has been meeting with social media stars and content houses to establish launch partners for the June 20th reveal. Well, we don't like to answer the questions when it comes to these situations, and we love to turn to the experts. And in this case, we're turning to Senior Vice President of Social Media at agency 360i and an old friend of mine, Orly LaWinter, for her insight. Here's Orly's thoughts on this possible move from an interview we conducted earlier this week via Skype.
You know, as far as it being a YouTube killer, I think this is in sort of a different league than YouTube. I don't think anything at this point is going to come out and kill YouTube, but I do think that long-form video makes so much sense for Instagram. It's not a surprising move at all if you think about it. It sort of continues the long march toward social becoming a content destination in its own right. Consumers are always going to take the path of least resistance and the path that leads us to the greatest amount of connectivity with their friends and with the world, and just the easiest way. Obviously, that path is inevitably social and mobile. For me, I think that Instagram is in a really fantastic position right now. They have the scale and the financial muscle of Facebook behind them, but they've also been able to retain a cool factor that Facebook lacks. Facebook is a utility, and Instagram is really a destination. I obviously haven't seen mocks, so I don't know how exactly it's going to be integrated into the app. But long-form video could do extremely well. People are already going to Instagram to get their entertainment and content fix. The average time spent there is about 30 minutes per day already. Snapchat also is in a great position in terms of time spent and people really wanting to go there as a destination, although they just don't have the same kind of scale that Instagram does, both with advertisers and with consumers. We're already seeing that content creators are experimenting with serialized content on Instagram, even though their video length limitations are pretty short at this point. But people are already creating serialized content. And so I think that all of that combined sets the stage for longer form content to do really well on the platform.
That's Orly LaWinter, SVP of Social Media at 360i, from an interview earlier this week via Skype about pending changes to the Instagram platform.
Trending topics on DFM. Frenemies and Froes.
I got to sit down with author and New Yorker writer Ken Auletta earlier this week as he's about to release his new book, Frenemies, the epic disruption of the ad business and everything else. Auletta joined a small room of influencers who work at Microsoft to talk about the narrative in his book, and it's not what we think. The term was used heavily by Sir Martin Sorrell, who helmed WPP for 3 decades before stepping down recently. Sorrell in his reign created spreadsheet-driven holding companies that put order and process above creativity. When the likes of Google and Facebook came along, Sorrell had to align with them, even though their business models were at odds to his. Thus the term frenemy or fro. Auletta noted how these holding companies realize tech firms want to off them like mafia dons. And so you have people like Sorrell creating new frenemies in the form of Amazon. Why? Because they are the biggest threat to the likes of the duopoly of Google and Facebook, and don't seem to be threatening to holding companies like WPP, at least not yet. While many want to disrupt ads as we've known them and enable ad blockers, Auletta is passionate about ads. As he noted in his talk with me, the monetization of advertising allows journalism to thrive. No ads, no journalism. Or at least not as much of it as it exists right now. Auletta also made me think about something that only Adbusters, the organization led by Callie Lasson, who wrote the book Culture Jam, has only done. Auletta questioned that if ads die, there's no way for companies to persuade and influence people about products and solutions. By destroying ads, you basically destroy capitalism. So once again, while we dislike the likes of Facebook for spreading fake news and holding a monopoly on information and knowledge, we have another reason to hate data bandits. They could end up destroying capitalism or creating a powerful netocracy. And we thought 2016 was the worst it could get? Thanks for the insight, Ken.
Trending topics on DFM. For creators by creators.
VSCO, yes, it's spelled VSCO, could end up being an Instagram killer. So why hasn't Facebook crushed it? There's this little platform in Oakland, California, with a subscription model that a lot of people like to use. Every day, more than 95 million photos are shared to Instagram. It's a juggernaut in the field of social networks with more than 800 million active users. So it's noteworthy that an Instagram alternative called VSCO has surpassed 1 million paid users for VSCO X, its subscription service launched in early 2017. The app's rapid trajectory makes it one of the fastest growing subscription-based businesses in the world, and has helped grow VSCO's revenue 91% year over year in 2017. It's on track to increase revenue 100% this year, according to the company. A subscription to VSCO X, which unlocks exclusive photo editing tools and tutorials, costs $19 a year. Yes, you heard that correctly. $19. That might not sound like much, but consider that there are dozens of free apps like it. And Instagram has its own suite of filters and tools that let users play with their photos and share with family and friends without ever having to leave the app. As it turns out, it's Generation Z helping VSCO X rocket up the charts. People under the age of 25 make up nearly 75% of all VSCO users, with Generation Z accounting for the largest segment of paid customers on VSCO X, according to the company. The fastest growing group of VSCO users are between the ages of 13 and 17. Yes, the large duopoly in social media, which basically is owned by Facebook. I guess we could call it a triopoly. Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram now has competition. We'll follow up shortly with more on this developing story.
You're listening to Disruptive FM with Jeffrey Cologne.
Now, here comes the music. Here comes the music. Here comes the music. Here comes the music.
It's Disruptive FM. I'm Jeffrey Cologne. Thanks for checking us out. In the background, that's Living Room and the track Childhood Dreams. That's the Groovedelic and World Traveler remix. Hey, you want to hear a bit of DFM every day? Check out our daily briefing on all Amazon Echo devices. just say, Alexa, enable Disruptive FM Daily. And when you want to listen, say, Alexa, what's in the news? You'll get a 2-minute flash briefing curated by us to help start or finish your day. Okay, so once again, we hear the stories every day of terrible business strategies, secret motives, and corporate malfeasance. We hear it every day. So what are we to do about it? Hit them where it hurts.
And now, Disruptive FM presents... What?
What kind of shit is that?
Come on!
Is Tidal operating the new payola? Back in 2008, or maybe it was 2009, I can't recall, the number one most viewed video on YouTube was from the Canadian artist Avril Lavigne. Avril's fans banded together to inflate the play count artificially by using a constantly refreshing website that adds one page view every 15 seconds to her music video. Ultimately, Lavigne racked up 93 million views on her song Girlfriend, and said Google owed her about $2 million. But then Google said, no way are we paying that, since what you did constitutes a violation of our terms and rules. A YouTube spokesperson said at the time, we have safeguards in place that limit the efficiency of this type of behavior to make sure that advertising campaigns running on YouTube only reach legitimate viewers and are in no way affected by inflated view counts or gaming activities. So fast forward, and there are some who think Tidal, the music streaming service owned by Jay-Z, is doing the same thing with Kanye and Beyonce's tunes. Tidal CEO Richard Sanders said in a statement, when we learned of a potential data breach, we immediately and aggressively began pursuing multiple avenues available to uncover what occurred. This included reporting it to proper authorities, pursuing legal action, and proactively taking steps to further strengthen our stringent security measures that are already in place. Sanders added that Tidal has brought on a third-party cybersecurity company to investigate the matter. I like Richard Sanders. I even worked for him in my past while at V2 Music, but this sounds like a wave of possible BS after getting caught. But is this opening up a whole new form of payola? What if the 200 million views or listens on some of these platforms have all been astroturfed? What if, instead of paying a disc jockey with cash in an envelope under the table, artists are working with platforms to finagle certain songs to the top of the charts? Remember, Billboard now weighs streaming services heavier than sales in its charts, and charts still help when it comes to royalty payments, licensing, and other third-party deals. Something sounds funny here, and it was uncovered by a Norwegian newspaper who found out via internal documents that Tidal manipulated data about those play numbers, inflating the ones for artists like Beyonce and Kanye. The paper also reported Tidal lowered payments for other artists streaming on the service. Well, for that, we gotta say...
What? Come on!
All right, time to check out what's on the radar.
Here's what's on our radar. Number 1.
Bazoma St. John is leaving Uber for Endeavor. The high-profile marketing guru will become CMO at the entertainment conglomerate. For those who follow St. John, she's been with Pepsi, Apple, and Uber, and has driven major brand awareness for all three. So watch out, Hollywood. There's a new king in town, or I should say queen in town, who is about to shake things up amongst the old Hollywood glitterati when it comes to talent management.
Number 2.
Gen Z is values-driven. Here's food for thought. In 2 years, Generation Z will represent 40% of all consumers, and the demographic cohort currently influences nearly $4 billion in discretionary spending. A report titled Generation Z, Unique and Powerful, said this demographic, which are people born between the mid-1990s and the mid-2010s, are also known as the post-millennial generation, and they are influential in ways we are just beginning to see. This generation makes sophisticated choices about identity, purpose, and values, researchers at the firm noted. They've spent their lives surrounded by digital content, and they know how to filter anything that lacks the right tone, language, and relevancy. Citing various data from prior research as well as a survey the firm conducted of college students, The report said Generation Z members are driven by values and strive to make the world a better place. Nearly 60% of the generation considers themselves to be socially conscious.
Number 3.
If you can't get enough of IKEA, then you're in luck. You will now be able to wear IKEA. With Spanst, the homeware company introduces its own minimalist street-style clothing line. There are very few things the Swedish retailer can't do, it seems, and clothing is not one of them. IKEA is launching its own clothing line in collaboration with LA-based designer Chris Stamp. The collection is, predictably, minimalist and mostly black and white, right up my alley for those who know what kind of clothes I wear. The inspiration clearly comes from the streetwear vibe and is designed for the urban lifestyle. Fun touch, some garments feature the coordinates of the first ever IKEA store in Sweden, as well as those of the first stamped shop in the US. The clothing line is designed for young, aesthetically conscious consumers living active urban lifestyles, according to a statement. The entire line is made to be affordable, with hoodies around the $25 mark, t-shirts about $10, and hats around $7. Now for the bad news. The collection will be available for a limited time only in the US. As if you needed another reason to go to IKEA, besides the Swedish meatballs in the cafeteria. Okay, that's a wrap for another episode of DFM. As always, thanks for checking us out. Connect with us by following me on Twitter or Instagram at DJGEOFFE. Follow Disruptive FM on Twitter or Instagram at Disruptive FM. And you can read more in-depth content via our sponsors, Microsoft.com/stories or BrandingStrategyInsider.com. Also, all next week, June 18th to the 21st, tune into Facebook Live on Microsoft's page to watch Future Boutique live from Cannes with yours truly. I'm Jeffrey Colon. We'll catch you next week.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft Communications designer Jeffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM is produced in Los Angeles by Feeler Media.